So, ladies and gentlemen, if I could just have your attention at this end of the clubhouse, just for a couple of minutes as we pour over the game with John Welsh and with Kenny Murray. We'll start with John. John, I guess a win's a win, but it wasn't pretty, was it?
No, it's just typical of these matches. They're always hard fought, as you've seen today, and it's been like that since I was here in Glasgow the last 7 years anyway. So it was a win though, and it puts us top of the league, so it's all positive.
No love lost between the two sides. One or two little handbags at dawn early on. Is that important in these derby matches?
Like you said, it's a derby, so there's going to be a bit of niggle. I think it's good for the game as well. It shows you that both sides are passionate about it and both teams want to win, and that's always good for the fans.
Now, it seems to me, from an outsider's point of view, watching from in the stand, that perhaps the difference was partially at the breakdown. I thought Glasgow bossed the breakdown. Is that a fair assessment?
In these games, and part of our game plan is to be physical at the contact area. I think we might have just edged it there today, but Edinburgh were very good in that area also.
Were you expecting Edinburgh to be that competitive? I mean, they're having a mixed season, but they really came and gave us a good match, didn't they?
No, like I said, it's a derby game, so form goes out the window. Both teams desperately want to win, and that's why we get such great games.
Okay, Kenny, from your point of view, watching from where you were, what was the most encouraging aspect from a coaching point of view?
We won. It's obviously the most important aspect of the game. Probably just what John says. Derby matches are always really tight. I think performance-wise, we didn't play particularly well at times. I think the contact area was really poor for us, and that's an area we need to improve for next week. I thought physicality in defence was excellent, putting some big hits, as did Edinburgh, but we need to improve before we go to Murrayfield next week.
I mean, quite a few handling errors. Do you put that down to players just very keen to impress, given that it's a derby game, two, something of a national trial? Was there some nervousness there? Is that perhaps the reason?
I think a lot's to do with how we want to play the game. We like to play an open game, we like to keep the ball moving. Sometimes our decision making can be a wee bit better, when to pass, when not to pass. So again, it's just an area we need to tighten up. But again, we're not going to change the way we play. That's the way we want to play to win games, and we'll continue that, but still some improvements needed for next week.
I have to say that the desk where we were was shaking a wee bit when Nico Matualu's try was choked off. Can you give us any insight as to why that wasn't allowed?
Yep, we've watched that a few times in video. Obviously, first of all, there was a high tackle which wasn't penalised, which was disappointing. And the pass from DTH to Nico on video looked fine to us, so we'll have a look at that and review that with the referees and officials, but disappointing not to get it, to be honest.
Okay, we'll just throw the last question to John. John, I mean, there may well be changes to both sides next week, who knows? How important is it for you to keep your feet on the ground for this next match, because it's not going to be easy going to Murrayfield?
We just approach it like we do every game. We're going with a game plan and we look to execute, so we don't take them lightly at all. The intensity and physicality will probably step up next week, and we'll need to do that as well.
Okay, John and Kenny, thank you very much for taking the time to join us afterwards, ladies and gentlemen. John and Kenny. Now, before you all get stuck back into your booze and your pies, the 16th Warrior did a little raffle before the game, and they're here to draw the prize winners. So if you have a raffle ticket, then be ready, because you might be about to win a prize.